we're moving on up to the side. It will be like some partner in the sky.
Come check out the new Sisters Braid 2 Hair Braiding and Natural Hair Care Salon, located at 18070 Mount Elliott Street. Our new salon is spacious with adequate parking, Wi-Fi, and all brand new state-of-the-art salon equipment. Come meet your local hair braiders and natural hair care specialists, and check out our many hair care services, such as hair treatments, box braids, cornrows, tree braids, Havana twists, children's braids, natural twists, lock extensions, kinky twists, goddess locks, updos, full weaves, and more. Please feel free to visit us on the web at www.sistersbraid2.com or call 313-826-0498. Here at Sisters Braid 2, we offer exceptional care for exceptional hair. We look forward to seeing you. Sisters Braid 2 is a proud recipient of the Unity and Rebuilding Fund.
To make your online tithes, offerings, donations, gifts to the Son of Man through Cash App, make your payment to $ New Nation of Islam. That's $ New Nation of Islam. Or call 601-786-7056. 601-786-7056.
We would like to invite you to help support the efforts of the Unity and Rebuilding Fund. Visit the website at www.unityandrebuildingfund.com. That's www.unityandrebuildingfund.com. We often hear how we need to work together to rebuild the city. We're actually doing it. You can make online donations and click on links to track the progress of the Unity and Rebuilding. And for more information, 313-868-0000 is the local number. Again, 313-868-0000. Support the Unity and Rebuilding.
Brothers and sisters, are you tired of reading the Holy Scripture and not really understanding what you read?
Conference recording started. Conference recording started. The recording has started.
Then you're home? Then let's talk with one another. Then let's reason with one another on a Scriptural Discussion with the Son of Man every Wednesday at 9 p.m., Friday at 9 p.m., and Sunday at 12 noon. On WHPR TV Detroit Live, 88.1 FM WHPR, and Comcast Cable. Why don't you call and discuss the Holy Bible, and if you have one, the Holy Quran, and come to an agreement about the Holy Scriptures and their true meaning? You can call in live on the air at area code 313-868-4336, 313-868-0342, or 313-868-0354. That's 313-868-4336, 313-868-0342, or 313-868-0351. And now, let's go live with a Scriptural Discussion with the Son of Man.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, the Truthful, and the Most Just, I greet all of you once again, who are hungry and thirsty for the true understanding of the Word of God. I greet you all with the greeting words of peace. May Allah's Salam Alaikum. I want to give those of you who have questions or disagreements with something that I'm teaching or have taught, I want to give you this opportunity to discuss it with me. We are not teaching that which we cannot be questioned on. As I was looking today at one of the well thought of patriots of this country. Miss Albright. They were saying that whenever she sat in conference with other heads, with heads of state, but she held so many positions, but she was the first woman Secretary of State appointed by Bill Clinton. And she was not the type of person who just sit and listen to you talk. But whenever you said something that she didn't quite go along with or didn't quite understand, she'd stop you. Right there. That is what intelligent thinkers do. If they are quiet, they are listening to you. And you will teach them. The questions that they need to ask you. By them giving you their sincere attention. Whenever you give people your undivided attention to hear what they have to say, you don't have to try to fight them. If you need to fight them, they will give you what you need in order to question or put up a resistance to what they are saying. So you don't have to worry over giving a person your attention. If they are an honest person, if they are truly honest and faithful to what they say they believe, or to what they say they stand for, they will have no objections to you stopping them to question or to for clarity or to even present an argument. Do you understand? So I I wish I had, maybe at some point would have gotten a chance to have conversations with her. I love talking to people who you can listen to and come away wiser than you were before you met them. And you can do that with people who are truthful. If you talk to people who are truthful, and you get them to talking about the things that they know, I guarantee you, you will come away wiser than you was when you showed up there. If you get into a meaningful conversation with them. Or I was looking at this Circle of Iron where Bruce Lee was given the credit for being the author of the plot. He shared a lot of the philosophy, the Chinese philosophy of Zen, and in there it starts off with a little clip that says, "Tie two birds together, and even though they have 4 wings, they cannot fly." That is to show you that in order for two to work together, they must have unity of mind. Do you understand? As long as they remain two, they will not be able to function as one. That's why we follow the best knower. Do you understand? And we willingly follow and submit to the best knower. But I was in another place. He after that he said, "Down is up is down, and sideways is straight ahead." Acknowledging that we live on a ball, and we are actually what you would normally consider to be upside down. We think we are right side up, but the earth draws to itself. Gravity is a magnetic force that holds us to the earth, that we don't fly off of it. So it's much to, we really hadn't thought about. And the book of enlightenment in there that contained all the wisdom of the world was a book full of mirrors to let you know that all of the wisdom of the world is contained in man. Do you understand? He looked in the book of enlightenment and he discovered that all of the enlightenment is in people. And if you don't walk the earth in humility, you are cutting yourself off from potential enlightenment, because no one likes proud people. Even proud people don't like proud people. Good example of that is Donald Trump. He's a proud man, but he didn't want no proud people around him. Do you understand? You either lick his boots or he don't want to be bothered with you. He didn't even want thinkers around him. He considered thought on your part to be an offense. Do you understand? So He's a man that handcuffs himself. You don't have to handcuff him. He handcuffs himself. Any man foolish enough to cut himself off from wise counsel has put a handcuffs on his own brain. So he's limited. So, and if he would get rid of his arrogance, then he could also rid himself of his narcissism, because he would listen to the counsel of others and they could help him get himself together. Do you understand? But anyway, but people like him, they listen to the counsel of others that that are just as bad or worse than they are. Their heroes are, you've heard the term, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. Have you ever thought about what that really means? When you understand the meaning of devil, it means deviser of illusion. And when you understand the meaning of idol, you notice most people think of the term idle as in lacking busyness, not busy working, not in motion. But that's not basically it. Idol also means false. Like an idol god is a false god. An idle word is a false word. An idle mind is that which a false word will produce. And so it's just like people who listen to false words, lies. Someone saying the election was fraudulent. And they say that while they don't have not one iota of proof, which tells you that they know they're making it up. Do you understand? And the only fraud that was connected to it was an attempted fraud by claiming fraud. Do you understand? And so, and when you look at a mind that is false, that is basically a jumble of a collection of false narratives, then yes, that is the devil's, the deviser of illusions, workshop. Do you understand? And they make up one lie after another. They counted over 30,000 lies of this man that used to be president before they just let him alone. What the point was, lie so much till people become numb to it. Do you understand? But you should never become numb to lies, because then, if you're not careful, you will neglect the truth. So, I want you to, whenever you feel the need to stop me for clarity or for questions, or even for arguments against something that you hear me say. Stop me. You know, do like Madeleine Albright used to do. She stopped people when she had a disagreement with them on something. You know, and you know, if nothing else, you know, it makes you realize that someone out there is listening to you. Huh? It's a good thing. It's always a good thing to talk to people who disagree with you when you are trying to promote a more complete unity. Because people who disagree with you are the ones who are preventing your unity. Then you need to talk with them and find out what is the basis of the disagreement. And if you can assuage their concerns or come to some equitable agreement about what they disagree with you on, then they can unite with you on a bigger purpose. You know, this is I want to say to the American people, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us this: in unity there is strength. That's the same thing that Jesus taught. He said, a house divided against itself cannot stand. I was thinking about short-sightedness. I was having a little discussion with one of my brothers about the infrastructure of this country and how President Biden wanted to tackle it in a way that has not happened since, I think, Roosevelt. Former President Roosevelt was in office. President Obama tried to do it too. But they were somehow concerned about the cost. You know, the first thing you learn as a father and a mother, that when it comes to your family, when it comes to your family's need, you cannot make cost the most important thing. You must put aside the cost and look at the need. Do you understand? Because if it's a need, then you got to afford it. Do you understand? That's why one of the first mistakes that you as a people have made in these last few elections. It started more so in 2012 when they were saying that we need a businessman to run the country. Maybe we need to try a businessman. Well, that was erroneous. You cannot run a country like you run a business. You run a business based on affordability. You may want to upgrade your machinery, but at present the machinery that you have still gets the job done, and it's kind of cost efficient, but yes, we could stand to have more, but we can't afford that right now. You know, but when your house is just about outdated and you've outgrown it or whatnot, it's not a matter of what you can afford. It's what you have to do and figure out a way to afford it. Do you understand? And so if you have a sickness, you can't say, well, we just going to have to downsize the family. We have to give up these children for adoption or whatever, or give them to the state or whatnot. When businesses get to the point where they can't afford the health insurance and all of the stuff for the amount of employees they have, they just lay some of the employees off. They get them, fire them, or whatever. They downsize. You can't do that with your family. You don't want a person in the White House or in the Congress that's trying to run the country like you run a business. Because they don't see the need to spend money on things like infrastructure, for instance. The roads can be patched. We don't have to go making new roads and whatnot. That's what it does. Why? Because that takes money. And we hate to pay taxes where we took paying already. And so I'm gonna get smart, and I'm gonna stop these taxes. And the hell with a new road. Them bridges, they done lasted this long. I mean, they'll be all right. Let's go down and do a little painting on them. And talking about metal fatigue, you just trying to get us to spend more money. That's all you do, tax and spend, tax and spend. Well, that's generally what the government has to do, since the government cannot compete with private business in this democratic republic. The government can't go in business. So the government regulates. And because by the regulation, it keeps everything, it's a check and a balance system. You let those in government make sure that the infrastructure is right and all of that. That's what it was originally set up for. To govern. But they want to get rid of this government. And they've been working to get rid of it ever since they lost the Civil War. You see? With a slow, steady drip. A slow, steady drip of water wear a hole through iron. Through steel, too. Yeah. And they've been gradually dumbing the American people down. For instance, how many engineers are listening to me right now? You don't have to give your name, just, raise your hand or whatnot. How many hands went up online there? Press 5-star. How many professional people are listening to me right now that have degrees in something other than managing somebody else's business? Business management. How many welders are listening? How many carpenters are listening? How many architects are listening? Look, how do you take a great nation and make them into a consumer nation? How do you take an independent, productive, self-producing nation and turn them into an unproductive consumer nation? You hit them in their school system. You hit them in their educational system. You take it over. Here, a good example. You don't get ahead by making teachers some of the lowest paid people in your society. How is that going to attract top-notch teachers? But if you want to dumb a nation down, you have to know how to drive the more qualified teachers away that could see what you up to, and replace them with less focused people who are teaching to make a living, more so than teaching because they know that without educated young people, your country has no future. So you've turned teachers into mercenaries. All of the patriots, you drive them away. That don't mean, I'm not trying to belittle teachers or whatnot. But I remember when I was growing up, teachers were like parents. Teachers were known to tell you, your parents didn't send you down here to act a fool. And I'm going to see to it that you either going to learn or your behind going to be mighty so. Do you understand? And so, obviously I didn't have no so behind too much because I can read, I can do math, I can write. And I'm a pretty functional person. And I can think independently. So, anything that used to be made in America was quality. Now you want quality, you have to go and get Sanyo or whatever happened to Magnavox. remember dairy products and things that was produced here in America. Wasn't nobody lactose intolerant and all that kind of stuff when I was growing up. Now all of a sudden people can't hardly drink a glass of milk without getting bloated and all messed up. Why? Chemicals. But anyway. Yes, sir?
Yes, sir. We did have a brother here named Sean who wanted you to know that he has a certificate in carpentry.
See, one brother, a certificate in carpentry. How in the world are you going to maintain a nation like America if you're not turning out builders, brick masons, cement finishers, architects, people who know something about stress on buildings and what type of foundation you need to put up this type of building and all that kind of thing. How in the world? And tell me something. Have you ever looked at war movies? Now, you don't have to be done went to war to know what happens in war movies. Look, many times you've seen where a bridge was the only thing that was the important thing that had to be held and kept open to connect supply lines and all of that kind of thing. You let your infrastructure get tore up and somebody attack you, you be in trouble, man. I mean, it's all kind of reasons to keep your infrastructure right in a world that's hostile where all these people got delusions of rule the world. If they could just get rid of you. There's a whole lot of people want to get rid of America. Get rid of the United States. Do you understand? You better wake up. You got people sitting right here that already tried to get rid of the United States and failed and then trying again. Did you hear that silly Rand Paul? Sitting up there talking about Ukraine used to be part of the USSR, so why are we interfering if Russia want to take them back again? That is the craziest thing. You saying the Ukrainian people don't have nothing to say about their autonomy? I wonder how much he getting paid. He done made his deal, brother. Believe me, he done made his deal. So, the Justice Department need to round up every one of them traitors. A man is in the government of the United States of America supporting the overthrow of another democratic republic or fledgling democratic republic in the name of they used to be part of the USSR. Well, America used to be part of the British Empire. The United States used to be part of the dominion of the King of England. Do you suppose England need to take it back over? I mean, with that logic. Huh? So, anyway, all them people need to be rounded up and put out of the government. And if the evidence shows, which I believe it will, that they were complicit in trying to overthrow the last election, they should be arrested And they should be put on trial, not for just interfering in the election. They should be put on trial for treason. Because they're in the government. You sitting up in the government? In the lawmaking body of a democratic republic advocating its overthrow? That's treason. Anyway, I'm just. Don't you think it's strange that no one ever challenges the things that I'm saying? From their side? It's not because I won't let them. I'm not coming here and argue their side and show me what's not treasonous about what they was doing. But anyway, I'm open if that's what if you want to discuss it with me. I'm open. Now, yes, sir?
Another brother came and said that he has a masonry trade, 25 years.
Good. Those are the people I'm looking for. Carpenters and brick masons and people who know how to build. And at some point, we must unite and go for ourselves. And I hope that you will, after you decide whether you believe I'm the Son of Man or not, if you believe that, then I would like to hear from you that we need to unite and build our own city. We can start with our own city that can grow into our own country. But we must start doing for ourselves what other men and women on this earth are doing for themselves. You cannot claim to be the equal of other men and women that are free and the masters of their own destiny if you leave yourself in the position of servitude to another people that determine how much you make, how far you rise. We can't make it like that. We must assert our own selves. And we must do it in unity. We cannot do it as individuals. We must do it in unity. You see what is happening to the United States as it becomes disunited. One state against the other. The next thing they will be doing is declaring themselves seceding from the Union again. You got this governor down there in Florida that's already acting like he's not, he's acting more like a dictator than he is a governor. Do you understand? And You should not let him do that. He is overreaching. He is conducting himself in a manner that is beyond what his title grants him. So, while preaching that people should have choices, he's steady trying to take away people's choices. Do you understand? So, it's just like on those tapes where McCarthy, after saying that the FBI was warning him, he starts talking about he needs to call Donald Trump and tell him to resign, or he needs to, he want to ask these people, can they stop some of these other Republicans that he's thinking about calling them and seeing if they can take people, other Republicans off of Twitter and that kind of thing. But there's no record of him ever making them calls. That was just a smokescreen he was throwing out there to the FBI and to those who, government people, that was checking him and telling him that this stuff that they doing could lead to violence and it could be against the law, what you're doing. He wanted to sound like he was thinking about doing the right thing. But if he was thinking about doing the right thing, he chose not to do it. Which means what? It means that he was agreeing with it. It's just like Mike Pence. You know, they tried to give him all of this credit. Mike Pence was thinking about going along with them. And as I said, he tried to call Dan Quayle to ask, could this be done? He should have known that could not be done. It wasn't like Mike Pence hadn't been in Congress. Mike Pence should know what can and cannot be done by now, all these years he's been in Congress. You know? He would have did it if he'd have thought it was enough people in the Justice Department that Trump had put in there and had enough people in place to make it happen. He'd went along with it. Just like he went along with all of that other stuff Donald Trump was doing and didn't open his mouth. Just, you know, I don't have any stomach for cowards. You know, you're not the only one want to live, man. Every human being on this planet wants to live. But if you haven't found something that you believe in so strongly that you would rather give up your life than to go beyond that point, you have to find something that you stand for, even if it means your life. It's just like we have a prayer. We say, surely my prayers, my sacrifice, my life, and my death are all for Allah. So, you know, that's the way Jesus felt. That's the way every messenger of God felt. You remember Jesus was afraid? And he said, if it's possible, let this cup pass from me. Huh? But in the end, he said, not my will, thy will be done. Oh, trifling Peter and all of them, they ran out. They wasn't willing to put their life down. Huh? So I just, it's beyond me how these people that have inherited so much was willing to trash it. The whole world was in admiration of this country. Every dictatorship was actually jealous and trying to figure out a way to undermine democracy and the freedoms that these people in this country enjoy were not enjoyed in countries where dictators. I was thinking about Edward Snowden. I wonder how he feels now. Poor young man. He was just young. He didn't understand. That's a case of learning too much too soon. Do you understand? To gain lots of knowledge before you have the wisdom to analyze that knowledge is dangerous. It can really hurt you. So, I know he's probably ready to come home. And if I'm any judge of character, I think President Biden probably would let him come home. But he was just a youngster. He didn't really understand that freedom does not mean that even in your father and mother's home, if they hadn't kept some kind of watch on you, you've been doing a whole lot of things you hadn't no business doing. Huh? Do you suppose your right to privacy and your right to safety? When sometimes parents get blamed, when children are found doing something in their homes that is wrong, the parents get arrested and the children get taken. Well, maybe you need to rethink your understanding of right to privacy. Do you understand? The right to privacy does not mean the right to sit down in privacy and plot the overthrow of the government. You don't have a right to that privacy. You have a right to privacy to do that which is lawful. But you don't have the right to privacy to do things that are unlawful. Well, how does the government walk that line? Very carefully. That's how. If they watch you and find out that you are an honest citizen or whatnot, then they have a duty to leave you alone and leave you to your privacy. Do you understand? But what if you scheming? The first general order of all military personnel, as far as I'm concerned, I think it's called the Uniform Code of Military Justice, because no matter what branch of service you're in, those general orders apply. And the first general order is to take charge of this post and all government property in view. You are aware that every state in the Union is the property of the United States government, right? Okay. The next one is to walk my post in a military manner, keeping always on the alert and observing. That means paying attention, watching everything that takes place within sight or hearing. So the cameras that they have set up and all of that thing, if it's within sight, somebody is watching. Do you understand? They ain't gonna waste their time watching you all day long if they know you ain't doing nothing, you ain't got nothing. You got to go on about your business. They're not looking for you, they're looking for somebody who's not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Do you understand? And you better be glad they are, because you never hear about the people that they caught doing something that could have caused you harm. Do you understand? You better be careful how you condemn things before you understand what you're condemning. I don't know how in the world you expect to keep a country this large safe that has so many enemies that you are finding out you got enemies. Why do you think they put in that oath of office that you swear to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and those that may be living right here domestically? Huh? Why is that in there? Somebody knew that there were domestic enemies. Huh? You can't open your doors to the world as this country has done and be so naive to think that the only people that's going to come in there is, or to think that the only people that are here. I knew another man named McCarthy that used to have people riding around looking at each other, turning Americans against other Americans by calling them communists. Huh? Simply because those people were expressing their legitimate concerns and their legitimate complaints. Do you understand? So you have to be careful about people who try to turn you against your fellow Americans. Because when they can turn you against each other, that's half the, that's what they say, division is a shortcut to subtraction. If you can divide the country against different parts of it, they will implode. They will destroy themselves. You running around here, you should have been put a stop to this stuff about honoring people who were traitors and treasonous, who tried to overthrow. A matter of fact, they tried to get rid of this country. Jefferson Davis. What was so heroic about Jefferson Davis that you got all of these counties around here named after him? Who was he? Oh, he was the president of the Confederacy that tried to secede from the Union and do away with the Union and hold on to the system of slavery and the system of injustice. In other words, the system of injustice. Period. Do you understand? the haves and the have-nots. And he wanted to throw away the Constitution. Let's be honest now. Let's just tell the truth. So why are you honoring him? So you got some house cleaning to do, man. Yeah, they marched that flag, that Confederate flag, through the rotunda of the Capitol. And to come to find out, that was the first time a Confederate flag had ever been carried through that building. In the war, they never got a chance to walk through that building with that Confederate flag. You don't think something is out of order there? You got some house cleaning to do. If you feel like you can't do it, give me the job. I'll enlist some of my followers into the law enforcement. We'll do it for you. There's no problem. I'm telling you, I'm with you. I live here. The messenger said we would not participate in none of your wars unless America herself is attacked. That's what he said. Wherein we would have something to fight for. And I'm telling you, he also said, Allah said, if there's any fighting to be done, he said, I will do that. Do you understand? You know, he can't pull no trigger if he ain't got no mind. And even that gunpowder that's inside of that case, that is a living creature. And that creature don't have to do anything when you hit that primer. That primer don't have to work on the head of that bullet. As he said, on the head of that cartridge case. You'd be surprised that when Allah is with you, he said, no weapon that is formed against you shall prosper. So, Allah don't make false promises. Living proof of it is standing here. So, you know, you get your evidence together and then round them all up and march them out in front of the whole world and show the world what happens to people who work in your government and try to undermine the very government that gave them the power that they had. See? So, anyway, sent them to school, gave them all the knowledge, and what they try to do, fix it where can't nobody else get what they got. Huh? Yeah. And you know the sad part? When all of them, if they all got what they wanted, if they had gotten to overthrow this one, you know what would have happened next? They would have all been fighting over who's going to be the boss. Do you understand? I mean, these people, it's just like wolves. They hunt together. But you always got that young one that think that he might can overthrow that other one, you know, and become the leader of the pack. You see, when you go after things, you go after power in an unjust way. When you get that which you went after, all it will do is increase you in your unjust ways. And your unjust ways will be your undoing. Do you hear me? Why you think all through history, dictators all became paranoid? I mean, they've been paranoid, but the more power they gained, the more paranoid they got. Why was that? He knew that the people around him couldn't be trusted because he talked them into doing unjust things and bribed them into doing things that was unjust, that he knew was that they shouldn't have been doing, but he paid them to do it, and they accepted his pay. So he knew they couldn't be trusted. So naturally, what did in the God, you remember in the Godfather? He told me, he said, keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer. Why? Because they're the ones who do your bidding. They're the ones who right up under you, and they're the ones who are your biggest enemies. Because you know what they will do. Because you paid them, and they did it against these people. And if somebody else pay them, or something else where they think they can profit, they'll turn on you. You understand? So they wind up start killing each other. so that's the way that goes. You will never find peace when you go after peace in an unpeaceful way. Do you understand? You will never find justice by going after justice in an unjust way. See? When you do to people what you would not accept being done to you, how do you expect to have peace like that? No. You have to, as the messenger said, if we want to, as the book said it, like this. If you go about run this race, yet you are not crowned except you do so lawfully. What's wrong with them screens there, bro? Sir? Why you got a cross on the screen? Don't be experimenting while I'm teaching. Just leave things the way they belong. You all pardon us a minute. Yeah. Okay. And you do all that practice and stuff when we're not on the air. Don't come in here doing it while I'm on there. Okay, all that split screen stuff that you're trying to do. You wait until I get off the air. All right. Did anybody have something they wanted to ask me? Disagree with me about? I don't mind discussing what I say with you. Sir?
No questions or disagreements, but Brother Sean says that he liked that demonstration that you gave on what Minister Farrakhan's name meant. He said he didn't know that his name meant that.
Yeah, well, it's in the Holy Quran. I looked in there and found Fairy and Kanis. And I put the two together. Where do you think the messenger got it from? That's why he didn't tell him the meaning of it. Because if he had told him the meaning of it, he would have known that the messenger saw him all the time. He even told him, he said, so when he turns hypocrite on me, the whole world will see him. And that's when he said that, Farrakhan got mad. He said, why do you want to say that? And he said, hit me like a, why do you want to say that? And he thought the messenger said that because the ministers and everybody was praising Farrakhan, and he thought the messenger was jealous of him. But no, the messenger saw him. Farrakhan always loved praise. He's just like Donald Trump. He's not quite as narcissistic as Donald Trump, but you notice when people, we had a man stand up in the messengers meeting and was a preacher, and he stood up in there and went on and on about the messenger was preaching a lot of things that he disagreed with, as he said. And when he got up there, all he could talk about was at your stores, your prices is higher than at the so-called Deborah. That's what he said. And so he went on and on and on. And matter of fact, I will let you hear it. It's just like with me. I let that man come in here in New York and talk. I didn't care about him talking. What bothered me was when I went to get into a back and forth with him, he was not able to do it. He would just not listen and would not answer any questions that I wanted to ask him. And so it was not a conversation. It was just him trying to take over and throw insults. And I just didn't want to hear that. But I love to go back and forth with people, to talk with people. I'm not afraid of what I'm teaching. I mean, when did you hear anybody other than the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, when he taught that the white man is the devil, he didn't never have to be backtracking and they confronting him face to face and calling him a hate teacher and stuff. He wasn't afraid of that kind of stuff. It's just like me. I'm not afraid somebody gonna come in here and accuse me of hate teaching because I called the white man the devil. I know who the devil is. And we made him. We made him that. And he knows he's the devil. Regardless of what you think. So, but that's not something that we say to mock him, like many thought. A lot of them, they walking around here every time, every other word out of his mouth, that devil this, that devil that. Well, look, man, I think you protesting mighty much there. You every other word, the devil this, the devil that. Well, you act like him. So what that make you? His disciple? We wasn't raised up to go around making mockery of people. If he made himself, then he could be mocked. But if you made him, why are you mocking him? told him that he would do his work for 6,000 years. And after that, the Lord himself would come, and that curse that we put on him would be taken away. But he got to stop his work. If he couldn't stop, he wouldn't have been told to stop. I didn't hear you. See, now he's devil by choice. Before, he wasn't devil by choice. He was devil because that's what we made him. But now the truth has come, and all of that misunderstanding that he had is just that, misunderstanding. He thought we was going to commit genocide on him at the end of 6,000 years. That's not what we ever intended. But we let him think that so that he could be what we needed him to be, which was devil. And so he did what we needed him to do. That's why I'm standing here. Because he put us in a situation where we thought, where our spiritual immune system felt threatened. And that's why we produced all them prophets and seers. And each one of them was kind of like a different version of me. That's all. You saw the Matrix? You remember when he went into the door full of the door that was light? And he went in there and saw the architect? Then he saw all them others that came before him. Right? That was him. But it was him at a different stage of growth and development. The mind that's in me is the same mind that was in Jesus. The same mind that was in Moses. The same mind that was in David and Solomon and all of them. All of those minds was a different stage of my growth and development. Do you understand? Okay. So now I'm here, and you notice all of the arguments, all of the resistance that was put up to them, none of it works against me. That's why everybody has to shut up. Do you understand? There's your proof that I am the Lord. I am the Lord of Lords. Now, do you understand that? Yes. The white man is a Lord too. The mind that's in him has been the Lord till I got here. I didn't hear you. You see, he shut his mouth. There's no way for him to open his mouth to argue with me without making a fool of himself. You know, I used to could provoke him into coming in here trying, but he didn't wise up. No, he ain't coming in here. Not to argue. And if he throw an insult, I'm going to throw him in hell. So that's that. And that ain't just for him. That's for anybody who come in here throwing insults at me. Because I offered you $50,000 if you can prove that I'm teaching other than the truth. I'm not standing up here lying to you. Now, I want you to hear something else here. This is Lawrence O'Donnell, and you know, I was looking at them. I think this was last night. But anyway, I want you to see this.
Thank you. Democrats in disarray. That is a favorite Washington media theme. As soon as any two Democrats can be found to publicly disagree on anything, the Democrats in disarray headline is ready to go, but we have never seen anything like the disarray and the outright madness on display in the Republican Party that we are seeing right now, and we are seeing it in Georgia, thanks to the madness of Donald Trump and Trumpism, and thanks to the beating John Ossoff delivered to the Republicans in his winning Senate campaign that gave control of the United States Senate to the Democrats, disarray, to put it mildly, has developed among Republicans in Georgia. John Ossoff crushed David Perdue's hopes for re-election to the Senate, and now David Perdue is desperately running for governor of Georgia with Donald Trump's support against incumbent Republican Governor Brian Kemp. Donald Trump's hatred of Brian Kemp is based on Governor Kemp's refusal to commit state and federal crimes and try to overturn the results for the presidential election in Georgia. And before I tell you which of these candidates...
Now, understand something. You cannot get angry with a man who disagrees with you based on his true beliefs. Do you understand? That's the man that you sit at the table and try, you and him, to reason it out and come to some type of equitable arrangement. Do you understand? Because he's true to his beliefs. Well, that's what Governor Kemp was. He was true to his Republican belief, but he was not interested in rigging no election. Do you understand? He understood the danger of that. He understood that the minute you start rigging elections, you have just set in motion the downfall of your democratic republic. Because once people decide in their heart, believe that the elections are not true, they are not fair, you just overthrew your own government. Do you understand? What do you think Donald Trump them was doing? They've been trying to get you to distrust your own electoral process so that you would burn your own house down. And the jury's still out on whether you're going to do that. Because by all rights, Donald Trump and everybody who was in support of him have no business running in anybody's election anymore. They have no business even sitting out in the public. They should be sitting in jail. They committed the most heinous of acts. They tried to destroy your republic through lying to you. Do you understand? And if they hadn't been at work undermining your school system for so long, that never could have happened. Whenever, what is patriotism? This is what patriotism is. Patriotism is this. Look, I'm mad at this senator. I'm mad at this president. I don't like this president. I don't like this congressman. I don't like this so-and-so. Say, well, I tell you what, man. Let's just tear the government down. Say, hey, man, what do you mean tear the government down? That's what patriotism will make you ask a person, hey, what's wrong with you? It will make you question anybody who decide to try to get you to tear up your house. Do you understand? I didn't say I want to burn my house down. You heard that dummy sitting up there talking about, I just want to see it glow, dude. He just want to burn it down. He ain't got nothing to replace it with. But you gonna replace it with what Putin doing? That's what you call freedom? Then you ought to be over there helping the Ukrainian people defend themselves. Because you say you believe in freedom. Free Ukraine. You was hollering free Detroit. You was hollering free Michigan. How come Trump ain't hollering free Ukraine? All Trump wanted to do was get you to fighting each other. They told you he was sitting up there enjoying, watching what they was doing on January the 6th. He was sitting there laughing and enjoying it. So what? What? You didn't get that? Now, some of them that's done got arrested want to get up there and say, well, Donald Trump, he the one told me to come up here and do that. So if somebody tell you to go attack the American government, you will do that. You will go and overthrow the government if somebody tell you to do it. If a man that get in office that swore to uphold the Constitution tell you to overthrow it and burn the Constitution, you would do that? A grown man acting like he was somehow Donald Trump's child. Huh? Hitler's people said that I was just following orders. Murdering those Jewish men and women and babies. Just following orders. It wasn't me. I was just following orders. In the military in the United States, they taught us that if you are ordered to do something that goes against your conscience, you don't have to do it. It's called conscientious objector status. You can't order me to go and murder civilians. No, you won't order me to go do that. No. I don't care if they white as snow or black as tar. You will never get me to go and murder civilians. That's not what the military trains for. You don't go into training to go to murder people who are not what you call combatants. If they're not in combat uniform, why are you shooting at them? They don't have guns. Why are you shooting at them? Why are you bombing them? And then you want to fall back to holler, I was just following orders? If it was your mother in her neighborhood, would you go drop bombs over there? If somebody ordered you to do that? I'm so happy that the whole world now is looking at that situation, and the whole world almost is saying, we ain't going to let that happen. I'm with you. No, we ain't going to let that happen. Allah is with you to keep it from happening. made me feel proud to see all of them countries stepping up and saying Russia is wrong for what they doing. And we're not going to let that happen. The whole world needs to be a part of. Every country on earth needs to join NATO. It sure do. And tell those who are not, you don't have to. But you will confine your sphere, S-P-H-E-A-R. I think that's how it's spelled. Or is it E-R-E? Okay. That's all right. Your sphere of dominion, you confine that to yourself and your country. Do not infringe on other people's. You notice, I practiced that. Can't nobody in Jefferson County, right here in this county, can't none of them say that I have been anything to them other than a good neighbor. A quiet neighbor. I do not bother my neighbors. If I can help you, I will. But I'm not going to do nothing to hurt you. If I can't help you, I'll just leave you alone. That is what you do when you believe in freedom. You leave people alone. You give them the same courtesy and respect that you want to be given. Russia wants their autonomy. Then why don't they understand that the Ukrainian people want their autonomy? It's not that they don't understand that. They just think that they are strong enough and powerful enough to override what the Ukrainian people want. And if you're nothing else, we'll just wipe them off the face of the earth. Huh? How do you do that? You convince your soldiers and your people that the Ukrainian people are not human. Convince them that those people are anything that they hate, Nazis or whatever. Huh? That's McCarthyism in another way. Remember McCarthyism? Just tell them they're communists, and then you can do whatever you want to them. Huh? So let me tell you something. A person has a right to their beliefs. They just don't have a right to force those beliefs on people who don't want them. Do you understand? You don't have a right to force your beliefs on people. Facts force themselves on people. Do you understand? You know the difference between how you can tell when someone has a belief rather than facts? If they have facts, they love to talk with you. If they have beliefs, they are careful not to talk too long with you. Do you understand? Because sooner or later, you're going to realize that they do not have any facts that they are basing what they believe on, or their facts are incomplete, which means their belief is really unfounded. Do you understand? Because the minute that you can show that some facts are against what they believe, then you have taken their belief away from them. It's just like when I told you, like many people when they first heard me say that Christianity is a lie, they connected Christianity and the Bible to be the same thing. And I had to make sure that they understood that I'm not telling you the Bible is a lie. I'm telling you that the understanding that you have been being taught by people who claim that Christianity was Jesus' religion and all that, they're the one that's a lie. Jesus never taught a religion called Christianity. Moses never taught a religion called Judaism. All of the messengers of God taught the same religion, and that religion was Islam. Entire submission to the will of God. Father, not my will, but thy will be done. Huh? All prophets taught that God's will be done. You don't hear them tell me that Christianity is not a lie. Come in here and tell me that Christianity is not a lie, and stay on that phone. You tried to convince me from the time I was a baby. My mama had me in church telling me that Jesus was murdered 2,000 years ago, and that was God's plan for my salvation, that he died for my sins. I didn't believe it as a child because it didn't make sense, and I certainly do not believe it as an adult. And I'd like you to come in here who claim you believe that. Come in here and tell me, why should Jesus, while you say God is a just God, but now you accusing him of doing something that is unjust? That's what you've been doing to us. We've been dying because of your sins ever since we've been here. In order for a corrupt society to live, uncorrupt people must die. Remember Serpico? An honest cop. Brother taught me that cop means citizen on patrol. An honest cop in the midst of a bunch of dishonest jerks wearing policeman or cop uniforms shot the man because he would not become one of them. Huh? In the end, now that was supposed to be a true history. All of them got arrested. All of them that they could find. But, you see, ain't nobody saying that now. How come they don't come in here now and tell you that Jesus' death was your salvation? How come they don't say it in front of me and come and discuss that with me? Because they know it was a lie. And they've been knowing it was a lie. And I think deep down, you knew it too. Like Santa Claus, you knew there was no such thing. Even though every year we were saying, Santa, what did Santa bring you for Christmas? If you take that in the word Santa and move it to the last, after the last A, it comes after the first A. But if you put it after the last A, it becomes Satan instead of Santa. So, you know, there's a whole lot of stuff going on with you and these rearranging words and all that kind of stuff. Huh? And I know that it ain't no accident that you call him Old Saint Nick, and because Old Nick is another name for the devil. When you look up Old Nick in the book, it tells you that's one of the names of the devil. Old Saint Nick, huh? I didn't hear you. Why else call him Santa? What is Santa? Satan. All dressed up in a red suit. He dressed himself up, as the book said, beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing. The color red is the color of truth. That represents truth. He comes under you notice, you turn on the AM stations, a lot of FM stations now. We're riding cross country. Just about everywhere you turn on the radio, almost some white man on there acting like he's preaching the word of God. He don't know nothing about preaching the word of God. He hides up under it. You know that song? You know the truth is the rock of ages. You know that, right? You remember Jesus said, upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. He was talking about upon that truth that he was teaching. Do you understand? You notice, the same truth that Jesus and Moses and David and Solomon and all of them taught in mystery. In a mystery, I'm teaching it plain. Is that right? It's the rock of ages. And what is one of the favorite songs that they made famous in this country? White people, y'all made it famous. It said, rock of ages, cleft for me. Let me hide myself in thee. Huh? You have to be careful when you go out in the woods and see a boulder. And you turn it over, it might be some snakes up under. Huh? See? Now you see what the song was talking about? Rock of ages, open for me. Let me hide myself in thee. As in the book of Genesis, Cain was the serpent that was hidden. As he said, Cain said, my punishment is greater than I can bear. He said, and I shall be a fugitive. You know what a fugitive is? It's somebody who did wrong and justice ain't caught up with him yet. He's running from the law. Is that right? Look over here in the 4th chapter of Genesis. I'm going to teach you. Say, you're not going to get away with claiming ignorance. If I had not come and spoken unto you, you would not have been knowledgeable that you was transgressing God's commands. But now you ain't got no cloak. I'm speaking to you now. Son of man, go, get thee to the house of Israel and speak with my words unto them. I didn't hear you. Okay. It says in the 8th verse, and Cain talked with Abel, his brother. It's no accident that the Cain, C-A-I-N apostrophe T spells what? Can't. Well, actually C-A-N apostrophe T spells can't. But you notice the words Cain and Abel. Can't and Abel. Huh? One can and the other one can't. Huh? You notice that story played out all through history. You remember that song, Sympathy for the Devil? He said, please allow me to introduce myself. I'm a man of wealth and taste. I've been around for long, long years, and I've stole a many man's souls and faith. I was around when Jesus, the Christ, had his moment of doubt and pain. And I made damn sure that Pilate washed his hands and sealed his fate. And then he said, pleased to meet you. Hope you guessed my name. His name was Cain. Do you understand? Why Cain and Abel? Why can't and can? Or can't, and one can't, but another one is able? Huh? Why is that? Because the natural mind cannot discern spiritual truths. He can't. Do you understand? And since he cannot understand spiritual things, he hates the one who brings spiritual things and thinks that spiritual things are foolishness. Huh? So he don't mind killing him, because that man that brings spiritual things brings his natural things, his natural rulership. It threatens his natural rulership because it's above that. Do you understand? Things that are important to him don't mean nothing to us. Not like it means to him. We see wealth as a tool. He sees wealth as power. Do you understand? Why does he see wealth as power? Because, and he says that everybody, every man has a price. Meaning what? A price to do what? To sell himself for. He'll sell his soul to me. What was Esau's price? Food. Jacob bought his birthright for some porridge. I didn't hear you. Mm-hmm. He had a price. Well, naturally, you got a price. If the only thing you have is a natural mind, you think that's all that it is to life. But you look at the history of the Ethiopian famine and the Somalian famine, and you see that everybody does not have a price. Black people showed you that. Laying down, dying with their babies in their hands, mother and baby. Fathers dying. A famine. They wasn't eating each other. That's the triumph of the human spirit. Do you understand? The human mind does not become a beast just because it's hungry. Do you understand? Okay. So I want you to understand that, look, by now you should know that Allah is with me. Otherwise, tell me, how do I know all of these things? How am I able to keep coming in here week after week, month after month, year after year, and you still don't know what I'm going to teach on until I start? And you still learning. Every class, you learn some more. How am I able to do that? You can't do it. It's because your mind is limited. The earthly mind that you have, that which came out of the earth, there's only so much you can go. That's only so long you can talk before you run out of something to say and you start having to do it over and talk over. I don't run out of nothing to say. The universe is connected to me. If all the oceans was ink and all the trees were pens and you brought twice that much, the oceans would be exhausted before the words of my Lord. So Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and killed him, and slew him. And the Lord said unto Cain, where is Abel, your brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there's no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own. He speaketh of his own mind. For he is a liar. Let God be true. And what? Every man be Cain. I didn't hear you. Well, let's see here. How many people besides me understand the Holy Scripture? How many of y'all can take over where I'm reading? Any of y'all that can take over where I'm reading, come on in there, and I'll let you take over and you explain these things to me. Show me the truth of what's here. Let God be true, and every other man be a liar. Ain't that what it said? Do you hear anybody? Anybody got their hand up saying that they understand these books?
No one has their hand raised.
Anybody typing something saying they understand these books?
No, sir.
We are on Facebook. We're on Twitch. Which other one are we on?
We're on YouTube and we're
YouTube.
Yes, sir.
YouTube and what?
Vimeo.
And nobody's saying nothing. And they ain't typing nothing.
No, sir.
Okay. So the scripture is true, ain't it? Know ye that the Lord, He is God. Let God be true, and every man other than Him be a liar. Huh? So all of them is Cain, and I'm the only able one in there. No man in heaven, nor in the earth, nor under the earth was able to open the book, neither to look thereon. Huh? But I can. And as the messenger asked you in the message to the black man, he said, if God is not his father, talking about the Son of Man, talking about me. He said, if God is not his father, who is? Who taught me all of these things? The messenger said, it's my nature. That's what he said. Islam is the black man's nature. Now you know what black man he was talking about. So, it says, and the Lord said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother? He said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? That answer told the Lord some wrong here. What have you done? Listen to what the Lord said. And he said, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. And now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth. Why? A fugitive and a vagabond. Well, you know what a vagabond is? It's like Papa was a rolling stone. Wherever he laid his hat was his own, because wasn't nothing here. Huh? Well, if he going to be making mischief and shedding blood everywhere he go, he going to be a fugitive. I didn't hear you. So it says, and Cain said unto the Lord, my punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day, When Allah told him to submit, he said, I'm not going to make obeisance to a mortal. And he said, then go forth, for surely thou art driven away. Huh? And on thee is a curse until the day of judgment. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. Meaning, everywhere I go, I'm going to do wrong, but justice ain't going to catch up with me. Huh? A fugitive is someone that justice ain't caught up with. Huh? They looking for him, but they can't find him. Look how long we've been talking about the devil and how he going to pay for what him and his followers going to be thrown in hell. But the devil's still busy. Huh? Ain't got caught yet, huh? Well, the truth of him came out now. So it says, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth, and it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me. All of the messengers of God found the devil and began to slay him. You know what that meant? The mind that was wicked, the teachings of Jesus began to slay that mind. The teachings of Moses began to slay that mind. The teachings of Muhammad began to slay that mind. Now, I have taken the sword of truth, the spoken word of truth. That's what sword is an acronym for. S, spoken, W-O-R-D, word. I have taken the spoken word, as the scripture says. Then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. I have taken away the ability of any one of you to argue with anything I say. Is that not Lord enough for you? I didn't hear you. You run around here thinking you're going to make me the butt of your joke? Watch and see who be laughing last. You know, we got an old saying in this one. He who laughs last, laughs best. You don't have nothing that I envy you for. The whole earth belongs to me. And everybody on it belongs to me. If you didn't belong to me, I couldn't judge you. So the scripture told me, he said, the earth is yours. The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof, everything in it, the world, and they that dwell therein. Yeah. Why you think they told you to let the Lord be your fear and let him be your dread? So, it says, and the Lord said unto Cain, therefore whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken up on him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him. What was the mark we set upon him? We made him, one of his greatest characteristics is his ability to deceive you. He's a good actor. He's good at making up stuff. So he could hide in plain sight. And he would hide until the Sabbath day, and then he would be revealed. Do you understand? Elijah would have to come. And Elijah came. And Elijah revealed the devil. And Elijah revealed the Messiah. He revealed God. He said, the black man is God. That's what he said. And he said, it will come to pass that one of you, he didn't know which one of us, but they had a movie like that came out too, called The Highlander. And when it first came on, it was Sean Connery, and they asked him to lead them. He said, no. He said, but the man who will lead you is among you. He said, and let the quickening point him out. Remember that? So what if you see the Son of Man ascend up where he was before? It is the Spirit that quickeneth. The flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit, and they are life. Why am I the only one that this word has quickened the mind of to understand it? It is because I am the Lord. So Cain knew he was a fugitive, just like you. The white man, he don't want critical race theory taught in his schools now. He don't want the truth about racism taught in his school, because it would tell his children that he's a fugitive. Do you understand? Somebody to make them feel guilty. No, it make you guilty in their eyes. You see. But anyway, we got time, so I'm going to go into some more teaching here. This is the 5th chapter of 2 Corinthians. It says, "For we know that if our earthly house of this tabernacle were dissolved, we have a building of God, an house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens." This house, you notice, Allah said to me over here in the book of Ezekiel, and you read it, and then it will help you to understand. This is Ezekiel, the 2nd chapter, and it says, I'm going to start at the first verse. "And he said unto me, Son of man, stand upon thy feet, and I will speak unto thee." The messenger told me, he said, if you want to talk to Allah, read the scriptures. Well, I stood up on my feet, and as I recite these words here, he's speaking to me. Allah speaks to me. He called me by name, Son of Man. Huh? You know they wasn't talking to you. I mean, ain't none of you out there that can claim that you thought that that was addressed to you. And be truthful. So it says, he said unto me, Son of man, stand upon thy feet, and I will speak unto thee. And the Spirit entered into me when he spake unto me. If something enters in, then how did it enter in? How did the Spirit? What is the Spirit? The Spirit is the Word. Jesus said, the words that I speak unto you, they are spirit, and they are life. Well, what does the Word enter in at? It enters through your receivers there, through the ears. Huh? And the Spirit entered into me when he spake unto me. And he set me upon my feet. The word that I read in these books here, that went into me and stood me up here to talk to you. Do you understand? I was commanded to do it. And the Spirit entered into me when he spake unto me and set me upon my feet, that I understood him that spake unto me. I heard him that spake unto me. You'll notice a lot of times you say that sometimes. At least we used to say it. It says, so-and-so son, so-and-so and such and so-and-so. Say, I heard that. What do you mean you heard that? Not only did you understand it, you agreed with it. Is that right? Okay, well, I heard him that spake unto me. And he said unto me, the 3rd verse says, Son of man, I send thee to the children of Israel, to a rebellious nation that hath rebelled against me. They and their fathers have transgressed against me even unto this very day. For they are impudent children, and stiff-hearted, I do send thee unto them, and thou shalt say unto them, Thus saith the Lord God. Why did it say, Thus saith the Lord God? Because he called them gods unto whom the word of God came. Remember, Jesus said, You call me Lord, and you say right. But why you call me Lord and you don't do what I say? Huh? Jesus was one of the Lord gods, the Lords whom the word came to. Moses was one. David and Solomon and all of them were Lord gods. And you notice, thus shalt, what did he say? It says, For they are impotent children and stiff-hearted. I do send thee unto them, and thou shalt say unto them, Thus saith the Lord God. Thus saith Moses. Thus saith Jesus. Thus saith Muhammad. Thus saith Ezekiel. I'm reading from Ezekiel now. Huh? Thus saith the Lord God. And they, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear. Whether they want to hear it or whether they don't want to hear it. Huh? For they are a rebellious what? House. Yet shall know that there hath been a prophet among them by the name of Moses, a prophet among them by the name of Jesus, a prophet among them by the name of Ezekiel. They shall know it when I speak. Why? Because I verified them. Then it says, And thou, son of man, be not afraid of them, neither be afraid of their words, though briars and thorns be with thee. And thou dost dwell among scorpions. Be not afraid of their words, nor be dismayed at their looks, though they be a rebellious house. Huh? Allah took the fear out of me for you. To hell with you. That's what he told me to say to you. He said, throw them in hell. And it says, And thou shalt speak my words unto them, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear, for they are most rebellious. But thou, son of man, hear what I say unto you. Be not thou rebellious like that rebellious house. Open your mouth, recite my words, and eat that which I give thee. This is my supper. And you have been invited every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday to the marriage supper of the Lamb. I didn't hear you. Then it says, And when I looked, behold, a hand was sent unto me, and lo, a roll of a book was therein. And he opened it. He spread it before me. This gospel of the kingdom must be published or preached to all nations. For what? For a witness. He spread it all over the world before me. So everybody would have to bear me witness when I got on the World Wide Web and started reading from it. Everybody that wanted to understand the Bible, that wanted to understand the Holy Quran, all they had to do was get on the internet and open up to these pages that I take them to, and they will see me verifying that there have been prophets among them. Huh? And it says, And he spread it before me, and it was written within and without. It was written in and on the backside, and it was sealed with 7 seals. But he opened it for me. It says, And there was written therein lamentations, lamenting, and mourning, and woe. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted when the Comforter is come. Huh? It said, Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that which thou findest. Why did he say eat what you find? Seek and ye shall find. That's what he told me. He said, knock, and it'll be opened unto you. To him the porter opened it. Huh? And it says, eat this roll of a book, from Genesis Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, all the roll call. Eat it all. Huh? Eat this roll and go speak unto who? The house of Israel. Now, let's go back over here to 2 Corinthians, that 5th chapter, and understand what's being said here. So it says in 2 Corinthians, it says, for we know that if our earthly house of this tabernacle were dissolved, well, that's the first house that was made. The first mind that was made was earthy. Is that right? It says, we know that if this earthly mind, house is mind, of this tabernacle were dissolved, we have a building of God. We look for a city whose builder and maker is who? Is God. And house, a mind not made with hands, eternal in the heavens. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away. The truth shall not pass away. Eternal in the heavens it is. The natural and the spiritual heaven. This word is eternal. Do you understand? And it says, for in this we groan earnestly, desiring to be clothed upon. We have indeed sent down to you clothing to cover your shame. All the shameful things that you do. We've sent down teachings that guide you into the best way to live and to cover all of them, that covers all this shame that you've been doing. Just clothing for beauty. Here's are the most beautiful attributes. And when you be surprised how what the natural eye deems to be ugly, the more you watch the beautiful actions of people that you thought were ugly, they start looking beautiful to you. Do you understand? And the people, it's just how people that you used to think was pretty or beautiful, their actions make them ugly. You understand? Okay? For in this we groan earnestly, desiring to be clothed upon with our house, which is from heaven. The first man is of the earth, earthy. The last man is the Lord from heaven. Huh? And it says, if so be that being clothed, we shall not be found naked without the word of God in us. You can tell when somebody's naked. That boy come in here, I'll be reciting the scriptures to him, and he called himself arguing with me. The fool didn't even have sense enough to know he was arguing with the word of God because he's naked. Do you understand? And it says, for we that are in this tabernacle do groan, being burdened. That's what sin is. It's a burden on the mind. It does not allow you to be at peace because guilt, the guilty conscience. They pretend. Let me show you how these guilty people act. They pretend that they have nothing to be ashamed of. And then they show you that they do have something to be ashamed of, because they don't want their true history taught in the school system. What does that tell you? He's guilty. Do you understand? You ain't never seen a crook that enjoyed listening to the truth about his crookedness. Huh? All right. Then it says, for we that are in this tabernacle do groan, being burdened, not for that we would be unclothed, but clothed upon. We're not burdened, not wanting to hear the truth about what's wrong with us. We want that which we are guilty of to be washed away. And I'm the only one who can wash it away. And you too foolish or stupid to come in here and get washed. What are these that are in white robes? And whence came they? Sir, thou knowest. These are they who came through great tribulation and have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Son of Man. And it says, for we that are in this tabernacle do groan, being burdened. Not for that. You notice, it's a good thing they described it as burdened. Because you notice all of these physical things, when you go to pick them up, they have weight. You understand? And so the more of these physical things you pick up, the heavier. You notice people call people heavy. Say, man, he's heavy. Huh? He's burdened with a lot of natural knowledge. And that natural knowledge prevents him from, if he's not careful, it will prevent him from the spiritual knowledge. Because he thinks that the natural knowledge is all there is. Do you understand? And spiritual knowledge tends to sound like foolishness to someone who has gave themselves completely over to only natural things. Kind of like that song that Madonna made famous. She was a material girl in a material world. Huh? That's all she could think about. You know, that's what the song was saying. But anyway, it says, for we that are in this tabernacle do groan. Like that song that says, is that all there is? Is that all there is to a circus? Is that all there is to a fire? Is that all there is to the... Meaning what? Is that all there is to life? It's just to live, work, get married, buy a house and a car, or compete to buy houses. You know you can't live in but one at a time. Then you got 30 of them, but you still can't live in but one of them at a time. You may have 1,000 pair of shoes, but you can't wear but one at a time. You may have 50,000 cars, but you can't drive but one at a time. And after a while, it gets into you, is this all there is? It becomes burdensome. Because you realize that after gaining all of these things, the one thing that you still failed to gain was peace. You still didn't have no peace of mind. Matter of fact, the more of these things you got, the more things you had to worry about. You had to worry about taking care of them. You had to worry about them not getting stolen or taken. Huh? It was just more and more burden. That's what earthy things do. They have weight. And so earthy knowledge weighs you down too. It makes you heavy and not able to rise, like dough without yeast. You put that flour and that milk and all of that stuff together, eggs and whatnot, and then you go to roll that dough out, it's like rubber. I don't hear you. It's heavy and it ain't going to become much. Unless you put some leaven in it. You must put some yeast in it. The earthly knowledge requires heavenly knowledge in order for human beings to be more easy to get along with one another. Do you understand? How in the world are you going to be easy to get along with other people when you're not really pleased with yourself? Donald Trump, he's not pleased with Donald Trump. That's why he's always trying to convince himself and to convince somebody that he's smart because he thinks he's not. That's why he keeps talking about his genius and all that kind of thing. And when he sees somebody acting like him, like Putin, he say, how smart is that? He went in there and he declared that. Now he ain't talking about Putin now, because the whole world looking at Putin as being stupid. He did something that made no sense. Even if he wins, he loses. Which tells you that he done already lost the most important thing, his mind. I did warn everybody, didn't I? Okay. So, it says, for we that are in this tabernacle do groan, being burdened, not for that we should be unclothed, but clothed upon, that mortality might be swallowed up by life. Huh? Yes. Now, you notice, ignorance is mortality. Understanding is life. I didn't hear you. If you don't believe it, you look at these trees. All their life is beneath them. It's called roots. Understanding them. I didn't hear you. Okay. Then it says, now, he that hath wrought us, he that hath brought, you remember David said in the 100 Psalms, it is he that hath made us, and not we ourselves. What did Paul say? Now he that hath wrought us, he that hath made us, for the self same thing, he hath made us for that life. Remember Jesus said, the words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are what? Life. God made his prophets for the life that he put in them. The word that he put in them. Now he that hath made us for the self same thing is God. It is he that hath made us. Know ye that the Lord, he is God. It is he that hath made us, and not we ourselves. Huh? Then it says, who also hath given unto us the truth of the Spirit. The earnest is the truth of the Spirit. And it says, therefore, we are always confident, knowing that whilst we are at home in the body, we are absent from the Lord. It says, for we walk by faith, not by sight. They knew they wasn't going to see me. Jesus knew he wasn't going to see me in the flesh. But he foresaw me in the spirit. Do you understand? It says, for we walk by faith, not by sight. We are confident, I say, and willing rather to give our lives and to be present with the Lord when he comes. Huh? That's written. That's right there. It says we are willing. We are confident. I say willing rather to be absent from the body and to be present with the Lord. The messenger said, I may be with him. If it pleases him, I may be with him. But if I'm not with him, this is the ending of it. Do you understand? But it pleased me that he's with me. That's why I'm always talking and using and letting him speak to you through me. Do you understand? And it says, for we must, it says, wherefore we labor, that whether present or absent, we may be accepted of him. That's what the messenger meant when he said, I may be with him, but whether I'm with him or not, this is the end of it. I didn't have to accept nothing that they said, because I'm the Lord. Do you understand? But, as they say, whether present or absent, we may be accepted of him. We may be accepted of him. Huh? Because I make all things new. And I may not need something that they have. I may decide that I don't want that. Huh? But that's all right. I make all things new, which means I can take what they brought and make it new. And that's what I'm doing. The understanding that you thought you had of them, I give you a whole new understanding. Huh? Okay. Then it says, for we must all appear. Now you see where Prophet Muhammad told you that when you go to the prophets trying to get them to help you, they say, I'm worried about myself. Myself. Why? Because we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ. The head that is of Christ is God. That's what the book teaches you. The one that you find all of the books condensed into the head of, that is God. That is the one that was told to take the book and eat it up. I didn't hear you. If it didn't belong in me, I wouldn't have been told to eat it up. You wasn't told to eat it. You was told that you was blessed if you are invited to the marriage supper of the Lamb. I didn't hear you. So, it says, for we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ, that every one may receive the things done in his or her body according to that which he or she has done, whether it be good or bad. You see, you deal treacherously with me? Okay. You're going to get the reward of your treacherousness. That's right. Allah will let you go out in the world, and the world will deceive you. And the world will strip you naked and parade you in front and make you like it. You have no shame? Well, okay. You notice horses, dogs, cattle, beasts and fowl. They don't have no shame. Don't no horse ask you to put some clothes on. Don't no dog ask you to put clothes on. The only ones who think they need to cover their nakedness is man and woman. Unless they are deceived by Satan, who pulls their clothing off and shows them their shame, and they are not ashamed to do so. Do you understand? Okay. And all your secret hatred of me, just remember, you didn't fool me. I knew I was dealing with sick people when I started this. Only one you wind up fooling is yourself. You mistook kindness for stupidity. You mistook me reaching out to you for somehow you somehow convinced yourself that you was more to me than you really were. You should have paid closer attention. I treat all of my followers like they're important, because to me, they are. But you've never known me to just single out favorites. I don't do that. Even though I've been accused of that. You know, these people act like they with me 24/7 because they don't never see me get on somebody. They think I don't get on. It ain't none of your business who I get on and when I get on. But everybody that got some sense, they know that you can't play me like that. You mess around here and wind up in hell. You better appreciate the fact that you got a friend that's your friend 24/7, and it ain't based on what you do for me. Because if you following me, it don't. I'm not a user. You know that if you had, that was good. I appreciated that. If you didn't have, I'm still with you. It's not no thing where we gonna start equating people to how much you got. Because I told you put us together with these talents we got, we ain't gonna stay broke. We gonna get some money. Do you understand? I ain't got no dummies following me. You can't be a dummy and follow me. Dummies soon go. If you don't rise up, you soon won't be with me. What they say about birds of a feather. Yeah. You watch birds when they get ready to take off or whatnot. You don't see no whole bunch of different birds together. They're all the same kind. I didn't hear you. Okay. Well, it's just like I told you. You thought I was joking? Well, now you know I wasn't joking. I told you I don't need to see the United States of America fall apart or die in order for me to rise. I don't need that. If they go down, it's because they wouldn't listen to me. It's not because I didn't tell them what was going on. But they hate me. Oh, rednecks sitting around here in Mississippi ain't got a pot to make water in and a window to throw it out of, but he in love with Donald Trump, who could give less than a tinker's damn about him. But he with him because he hates black people. They hate their fathers. Even in Star Wars, Luke had sense enough to know you don't go kill your father. At least you don't try to. And his father didn't want to kill him. You ain't hear no white man coming in here talking about he think I hate white people. Hate me for what? I ain't did nothing to you. But tried to save your miserable life. Okay. Anyway, we let me tell all of you something. The Son of Man did not come to destroy men's lives. The scripture says, but to save them. Allah told me to warn the righteous and warn the wicked. Not in that order, but that's the way it's written. It says, and remember now, you sitting in front of the judge. And the book told you that we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ. The judgment seat of Christ is my brain. Didn't Jesus warn you of that? Jesus said, if any man hear my words and believe not, I judge him not. For I came not to judge the world, but to save the world. He said, but he that believeth, listen good now. He said, he that rejected me and receiveth not my words has one that judgeth him. The word that I have spoken, the same shall judge him in the last day. It don't take rocket science to figure out how Jesus' words that Jesus spoke was going to be your judge. The Son of Man was told to eat up the book. Eat it up for what? Because what's in the book is what I'm going to use to judge everybody. How many of you think that that's a lie, that I'm not the one to judge you? Why you think I was told to eat up the book? It's a mighty poor judge. I mean, you got people sitting in Congress making laws when they don't know what's against the law and what's against the Constitution and what's not. How are you a lawmaker and yet you don't know what's constitutional and what's not? The blind leading the blind. Ain't you something? And that didn't have to be. You could have been teaching the Constitution from the time that they was in elementary school to the time they got out of high school, and they would have known the Constitution. Everybody would have known the Constitution. It's not too late for you to do that. You need to start doing that now. That way when people stand up and take an oath, they won't be lying, talking about they're going to uphold the Constitution and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. How the hell you going to defend and uphold something that you don't even know what's in it? Jackass. You know, they used to, I used to could provoke somebody to say something. I told you you was going to learn to be scared of me, didn't I? Didn't I tell him that? I just proved that. That's all. I know how to prove what I say. So you're being judged. We must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ. So, the World Wide Web, Allah made it come to pass. The messenger told you that it was being prepared. He said they're linking it up now. That's what he told you. Why? Because that's the trumpet that I'm warning you to be aware of. Because it's not just coming from the man's mouth, it's being passed through a mechanical instrument. And they linking it up now. Huh? Yeah. How in the world did you think that the whole world was going to be gathered before me? As the book says, when the Son of Man shall come in his glory and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the brain of his man that was made to receive him, and before him shall be gathered all nations. WWW means World Wide Web. You hear me? I'm so proud of the, I said it once and I will say it again. I'm so proud of the people in the different nations who are coming to the aid of Ukraine to show that the world is not going to sit back and watch the atrocities that they sat back and watched with Adolf Hitler. They're not going to sit back and watch that happen again. And I'm proud that you are doing that. And I pray, Allah, that each and every one of you that are trying to assist Ukraine, may Allah bless your nation and keep you strong and keep you sane, because you see what insanity will do. Now, listen to this. I started this and I didn't.
Is way ahead of the other. Take a look at the Republican disarray in Georgia caused by Donald Trump and Senator John Ossoff, who will be joining us on this program tonight.
First off, folks, let me be very clear tonight. The election in 2020 was rigged and stolen. All the madness we see from the Biden administration, all that started right here in...
Now here's a man that stands up and insults your intelligence with a straight face. Huh? He repeats a lie that everybody knows is a lie, but he thinks that he can get some traction out of it so that he can gain authority over you unjustly. You know, when people think that, when people got to lie in order to get you to give them some authority, you ain't got to wonder what they're going to do if they get that authority from you. They're going to keep on lying to you. Do you understand? They had a song, the same thing it took to get your baby hooked, it's going to take the same thing to keep her. Do you understand? Who is he trying to hook? He's trying to hook all of them dumb rednecks and dumb people that they done dumbed down in the United States. As they said, America first. Dumb it down enough to crash its own democratic republic, and then you can have autonomy or autocracies all over the earth. Do you understand? Okay, listen.
When our governor caved and allowed radical Democrats to steal our election.
I don't need to be lectured by someone that lost their last election about what our voting laws are.
You're the top cop in this state.
Did you hear the governor? He told him a fact. You lost the election, man. And you want to get up here and tell a lie as though it was fraud in it. The only one that they claimed was a fraud was the presidential election. They didn't say, he didn't claim that his election was a fraud, did he? He lost his. He accepted his loss. But he said Donald Trump didn't lose. Why? Because Donnie said he didn't lose. And I'm scared to say he lost because Donnie won't support me. Donnie may start talking about me and everybody gonna turn on me. All these dumb rednecks gonna turn on me and threaten my life. Ain't that something? A coward wants to be a governor. A man who would rather capitulate to cowardice wants to be over your National Guard. I didn't hear you. That don't work for me. Let's listen.
Your job to make sure that we prosecute voter fraud.
The fact is, if you hadn't lost...
Well, if you're gonna prosecute voter fraud, well then you need to be going after Donald Trump for calling your Secretary of State to try to fraudulently take over the election. Huh? I mean, this man is contradicting himself. Is he calling on the governor to go after Donald Trump? No! Because he's scared.
Race to John Ossoff, we wouldn't have lost control of the Senate and we wouldn't have the disaster that we have in Washington right now.
So there's Governor Kemp once again authorizing that John Ossoff won his Senate race against David Perdue fair and square. And if the current Georgia polls prove true, David Perdue is on his way to another crushing defeat in Georgia, which means that Donald Trump is on his way to another crushing defeat in Georgia. We will discuss that and much more when Senator
Donald Trump should be on his way to jail. Matter of fact, he should be sitting in jail now.
John Ossoff joins us later in this hour. The New York Times released new audio today of Kevin McCarthy saying what he really thinks. And of course, it was secretly recorded audio.
Well, actually, Kevin McCarthy was saying things that he may have thought, but he was too scared to say as a man and as a patriot for his country. Then he started playing to the FBI just in case they was listening. Do you understand? Kevin McCarthy ain't never intended to call Donald Trump. Kevin McCarthy wasn't in no kind of way insisting or going to insist that these people's Twitter accounts was closed. He was just spitballing for the sake of whoever was listening in private. Do you understand? Kevin McCarthy is crooked as a dog's back legs.
Of a conference call with Republican House leadership, because Kevin McCarthy never says what he thinks.
It's something that I wanted you to see here. We can get past Kevin McCarthy. I don't want to hear what he got to say.
Eugene,
this is something that you need to hear.
Of the committee might be because the Justice Department might be investigating Mark Meadows for possible criminal involvement in encouraging the attack on the Capitol, as Cassidy Hutchinson's testimony indicates. Leading off our discussion tonight, Stuart Stevens, veteran Republican presidential campaigns. He is the author of It Was All a Lie, How the Republican Party Became Donald Trump. Also with us, Eugene Robinson, associate editor and Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist for the Washington Post. He's an MSNBC political analyst. And Eugene, we are in week 2 of the McCarthy tapes, and we suspect there are more on the way. Matt Gaetz out tonight with an enraged attack on Kevin McCarthy, and Steve Scalise saying that they are weak. These tapes show that they are weak. And so the disarray is in full bloom in the Republican House.
Yeah, Lawrence, what is going to be our alliterative reference to the Republicans? Is it Republican?
Ourselves in that somehow an office will transform someone. Once Donald Trump becomes president, he'll start acting like a president. Once Republicans get in power, they'll act responsibly. I mean, that's absurd. The idea that non-democratic people become more democratic when they get more power has never been proven to be true.
Matter of fact, the opposite is proven to be true. They used to have an old saying, when I was growing up, that fathers used to tell their daughters, and you'd hear people that was trying to wise up to their little sisters. Well, if you can get the milk free, why you got to buy the cow? I was telling you that ain't no man gonna marry you if he can have the benefits of marriage, intimacy and all that stuff without getting married. Huh? So there's very few men that's honorable enough to do that. Do you understand? So he ain't gonna take care of you if he don't have to. So this is the same. These people, Donald Trump read the snake to them before they elected him. I didn't hear you. Read it more than once. In other words, and after he finished reading it, he said, does this make sense? He said, you knew what he was before you elected him. And if you elected him with all of that baggage he had, why would you expect him to change after he got in office? He didn't have to change before he got in office, so why would he change after? Obviously, what he was doing helped him get in office, as far as he was concerned. So he wasn't finna change. A crook, an unrighteous man ain't going to become all of a sudden a righteous man just because you choose him to be a pope. I didn't hear you. Why should he? When you knew what he was when you put him in there. You knew Donald Trump was not a patriotic citizen of this country when you elected him president, and you knew that he didn't give a damn about the Constitution. And you knew he was a liar. And you still put him in there. Because those who put him in there didn't give a damn about the country either. Do you understand? If that ain't so, how come they ain't saying nothing? Now, just listen. This man here, this man that's talking with this, he got a lot more to say. I want you to hear what he had to say about Mike Pence, because he told the truth. Just like he just told the truth there. You talking about putting somebody in Congress or putting somebody in the White House, and all of a sudden they're going to change. Even President Obama told you that making a man the president or giving a man power, that don't do nothing but bring out what was hidden in him. It just increases him in whatever it is He is. It don't make him a different person.
That's opposite. Kevin McCarthy is just somebody who he thought he could cut a deal with these people, but they're going to eat him alive.
Congressman Gates tweeted tonight, this is the behavior of weak men, not leaders. He said, while I was protecting President Trump from impeachment, they were protecting Liz Cheney from criticism. And Gene, he goes on from there, ranting on from there. Kevin McCarthy's struggles, we see the struggle he was in at that time, and now that whole struggle has revisited itself now that the tapes come out. He has to go through it all again.
Absolutely. It's going to go on and on and on. And isn't it, it's not ironic, it's just insane that public enemy number one in today's Republican Party is Liz Cheney, a lifelong rock-ribbed conservative Republican, daughter of Dick Cheney, a Republican's Republican.
What they need to do is tell the truth that Liz Cheney is a true Republican. And these people who claim to be Republicans are not Republicans. They are Tea Party. Like the colonists were not Indians. They just dressed up like Indians in the Boston Tea Party. These people are not Republicans. They just put on Republican title. But what they really are Tea Party. And if you really want to know what they are rebels. They are Confederate rebels. Do you understand? Reasserting themselves to try to do 200 and something years later, well, not quite 200 and something, 1865, 160 something years later, maybe. What they couldn't do in 1865. Do you understand? They tried to destroy the United States in 1865. And they now, in we still counting, 2022, they still trying to destroy it. Do you understand? And you had better wake up to what's really going on. You see how mad they got when you told them they got to take down all these Confederate statues and get rid of these Confederate flags flying over state buildings and whatnot. Do you think it was an accident that somebody with a Confederate flag was walking through the Capitol? There wasn't no accident. That's what this really have been about. You remember when Donald Trump was standing up out there and asked them, what's the name of that house behind me there? And they said, White House. You remember that? Well, he's sending a signal to them. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Let's take it back. Take back the country. Take back the country. Is that what they said they was doing? Taking it back? Well, when did it get taken? It got taken when they tried to declare themselves seceding from the Union, and the Union won and kept the country together. Where the Confederates wanted to strip the country away and become separate countries according to what they had going. They wanted to form a confederacy, not a, United States. Every one of them was going to be their own boss. Do you understand? And so they want to take it back to when things was when they was the boss, and they was doing their own separate things and didn't have to answer, every governor was actually would have been his own president. Do you understand? And so even the Bible says, say not a confederacy with those who say a confederacy. The Bible says that. It's over in the 8th chapter of Isaiah. But these people, they think that they can just undo something that God set up. And they're about to find out in the worst way that they really messed up. Now, when you ain't got no mind, when they ain't got no mind, then that ain't far off. Remember, I did tell you, I warned you. You should not have tried to overthrow this country that God set up. You should have left it alone and see what his plan was.
She couldn't be more.
I mean, look, what do we know? We know that there was a conspiracy to end the transference of power in the United States of America, which is to end the American experiment. At the center of this was Mike Pence. He's the Vice President of the United States. He knew that this was happening. And what did he do when the greatest threat to democracy really since 1860 happened? He waited to see which side was going to win. You're not calling Dan Quayle because you're outraged. You call the FBI because you're outraged. You hold a press conference because you're outraged.
Now, it's about time they had somebody come on there that's white and tell the truth. You stop marching all these black people out there to critique this situation. You bring white people out there to tell white people what's really going on. Do you understand? You know they got a problem. You know white people got a problem listening to a black man. You know that. See now, there's a white man talking. He knows the truth. That Mike Pence is a weak, spineless little man that was sitting up there in Congress. He knew what they was planning on doing, and he knew it was illegal. He knew it was crooked. He knew it was treason. What do you need to call Dan Quayle for? That man told him who he should have been calling. He should have been calling the FBI to arrest people. Let's listen to him.
Pence is a guy
of the Electoral College.
I mean, look, what do we know? We know that there was a conspiracy to end the transference of power in the United States of America, which is to end the American experiment. At the center of this was Mike Pence. He's the Vice President of the United States. He knew that this was happening. And what did he do when the greatest threat to democracy really since 1860 happened? He waited to see which side was going to win. You're not calling Dan Quayle because you're outraged. You call the FBI because you're outraged. You hold a press conference because you're outraged. Pence is a guy that waited to see who was going to win, and when it was clear that they weren't going to be able to pull this coup off, he went with the winning side. And I think the idea of praising Pence here for doing what was constitutionally obligated to do is very dangerous. It's really sort of the dumbing down of any sort of moral responsibility.
Yeah, the Pence call to Quayle is reported as calling Quayle to ask him, can I do this? Actually trying to see if there's a way to do it. And
he had his nose so far up Donald Trump's behind that if Donald Trump coughed, you'd have saw Mike Pence's face. And to show you how how less than a man he was. They was walking through there talking about hang Mike Pence, and he was too scared to be angry. That's the kind of leadership you want? Cowards? Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Look like a bunch of cowards up there to me. People call them on the phone and they go to trim them. We gonna visit you. We gonna visit. You and the undertaker gonna visit your relatives. That's what you should have told them. You sitting up there trembling. Right is on your side and you scared? Not in this day and time. When right is on your side, in this day and time, God is on your side. He ain't got one eye closed no more. Eyes wide open. Okay. Stand for what's right, and Allah stands with you. Okay. Any question? I know it's late. Something else that I'm going to share with you, if it pleases Allah, on Friday. All of you who are in the Justice Department and in law enforcement, it's time to clean out your house, man. It's time to stand for what you say you stand for. I know one thing. I'm through letting people misrepresent Islam. I'm warning you. Stop going out telling people that you are a Muslim and telling people that Islam is through, even by your deeds and your actions, trying to make it look like Islam is some kind of terrorist religion or whatnot. You better cut that foolishness out. From now on, you're going to pay a price for that. And hell is the price that you're going to pay. So I'm telling you, stop. We are not murderers. We are not people who go around trying to terrorize anyone. A Muslim is an upright man or woman. A Muslim is one who submits to do the will of God. It is not God's will that we go around murdering one another. It is not His will that we try to cheat and lie to one another. It is His will that we treat everyone like we want to be treated. That is His will. Treat others as you expect others to treat you. If I was a liar, I would expect people to call me on it. Okay. So I'm going to stop right here. And may Allah bless us all and keep us safe, who hunger and thirst for his righteousness, and grant to us a peaceful and pleasant night's rest and sleep, and a happy, peaceful, and pleasant morning's rise. May Allah's Assalamu alaikum.
This session is no longer being recorded.